Tabe has just released Arc 7 Chapter 106, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 105 summary. Anyways, let's begin. When the Prime Minister of Wallachia returned to the throne room, he found that the throne room door was closed. However, the definition of closed was more like the throne room itself was sealed off from the world itself. We see the Stargazer is with the Prime Minister and states that the real Emperor is here, meeting with the fake Emperor. The Prime Minister is confused. Oobleck states he's here due to the whispers of the stars. The Prime Minister inquired, stating that despite there being battles everywhere, Oobleck managed to get through the battlefield unharmed, and Oobleck states that he did. The Prime Minister knows that Oobleck is an anomaly. He has walked through rains of arrows before and came out unscathed, almost as if guided by something. Whether it's the whisper of the stars or by Oobleck's own ability, he doesn't know. There's no difference. Due to this, neither the real or fake Vincent would let go of Oobleck. Despite that though, the Prime Minister has a role to fulfill, similar to Oobleck. The Prime Minister asks if Oobleck overlooked the fake Emperor on the throne, questioning Oobleck's loyalty. Oobleck then asks the Prime Minister if he trusts him or not, and the Prime Minister says no. Oobleck states that he hasn't changed his position, a position to avoid the great disaster that will destroy Wallachia. The Prime Minister understands. That's the reason why Oobleck needs both the real and fake Emperor to meet, and Oobleck confirms it. The Prime Minister then murmurs about what will happen next. The scene changes. Abel steps onto the blood-red carpet. A man that walked on the board and schemed and cowered. This was all done for this opportunity. Abel, who looks at the fake Emperor, knows that Vincent Wallachia's face in front of him is a cheap imitation of his own. However, a mask is a mask. It's meant to hide one's true intentions. Abel asks the fake Emperor if he got what he wanted when he schemed with the Prime Minister to banish him. If anyone had heard this question, there would be outrage. However, everyone was away on the battlefield. Abel was someone who was straight to the point, hence why he asked a blunt question right off the bat. The fake Emperor, however, states that he has not yet obtained the results he seeks. Abel then mutters, "I still haven't found what I'm looking for, have I?" With that, Abel closes his eyes against his natural impulse. As the Emperor, he usually ensures that he keeps at least one eye open at all times. Abel, however, comes to a conclusion: deception. And for once, colour appears on Abel's face as he disdains the cheap imitator in front of him. Abel summarizes the events which had happened when he was ousted, such as the destruction of Chaos Flame and the rebellion. The fake Emperor then asks if Abel would have done things differently if he was still on the throne, and Abel confirms it, saying that a different picture would have been painted, before finally stating that the fake Emperor's actions have lit the country on fire, before stating that there is a change and a way to overcome this situation. Abel then reaches for his demon mask and pulls it off. Now the real and fake Emperor face each other. Abel made up his mind. He already knew what decree to make. As Abel began to speak, he was interrupted by the words, "Your Excellency." These words stopped Abel in his tracks, and he understood it. For the second time, Vincent Wallachia was betrayed. The first when he was ousted from the throne, and the second was... As he pondered this, the fake Emperor rises from the throne, looking down at Abel. The bird's eye view of the board was the only thought you had. With that, the fake Emperor approaches Abel. The scene changes. Ram is using wind magic to cast on the battlefield. The enemy she faces has no vital points, so her signature magic isn't as effective. However, Ram doesn't give up. With the Shadrachian women by her side, she imbues their arrows with wind magic, giving the arrows rotation and velocity, allowing them to shatter the stone doors with ease, piercing through crowds of them. Using wind magic, Ram can gently guide the launched arrows back into the hands of the Shadrak warriors, allowing them to constantly fire their arrows, reobtain their arrows, and then fire again. Ram continues to chant magic, and the Shadrachian warriors look at her in admiration. Mizelda then charges in with her dagger. Tarita fires 3 arrows at once, and even Jamal is present, shattering the stone doors. However, Dicker Ottoman tells everyone to back off as Mogoro smashes his giant arm onto the battlefield. However, shortly after, Mogoro turned around and faced the Imperial capital. Instead of continuing the battle, Mogoro simply walked to the Imperial capital, leaving Ram and the rest in confusion. The scene changes. Emilia mutters that Madeline is not waking up. Emilia looks at Cecilus running vertically up the ice wall as he dodges Mezioria's attacks and slashes at Mezioria's neck. The ice sword Cecilus used shatters. It's unknown if this was due to Mezioria's hard scales or if it was due to the speed that Cecilus swung the blade. Despite that, Cecilus pulls out more and more swords, which he stashed in his waistband and his clothing, as he relentlessly attacks Mezioria, who attempts to flee. Watching it from afar, Emilia knows Cecilus might even kill Mezioria. Emilia looks down at Madeline and mutters that she is fighting for someone she cares for. Despite her being mad at Emilia, Emilia doesn't dislike Madeline and understands that Mezioria came down to fight because of Madeline's feelings. If Mezioria died, how would Madeline feel? Emilia then tries to wake up Madeline again. Cecilus continues his relentless assault in the air, using the dragon's body as a foothold. Blue blood drips into the snow, showing that Cecilus had finally pierced the tough scales of Mezioria. Cecilus wonders if Mezioria lost his wings, would he be any different from a ground dragon, and asks if Mezioria knows how to fight on the ground. Cecilus isn't mocking Mezioria, he's just genuinely interested. The fight continues with Cecilus attacking Mezioria and obtaining more swords from Emilia in the process. However, something changes. The attack from Mezioria didn't come. Instead, Mezioria looks into the sky, as if attracted by what's up there. Mezioria looks up and Emilia goes over the possibilities of what it could be, as there's a shadow being cast on the clouds above. Mezioria then suddenly flies upwards. Cecilus tries to chase after Mezioria and jumps from the ice wall, shattering the ice wall. And Cecilus darts through the sky, but he cannot chase after Mezioria as he loses momentum and falls back down. Emilia notices where Mezioria went, the Imperial capital. The scene changes. The two emperors faced each other, almost so close that their eyelashes were nearly touching. Abel, the leader of the rebels, who was always one step ahead, decided to use his second best move. However, a sharp pain rings out on his left collarbone. It was from an iron fan, often used by opponents who disguise themselves with the same face as him. He immediately thinks of plans to overcome the situation. He hears a voice. "It's not like playing on a board. I guess that's why you're not a warrior." But before he can even come up with a plan, his arm is twisted. For a short while, his vision was blinded, but then he could see shortly after. He tried to understand the meaning of it. Abel mutters the words, "You," as he now is wearing the demon mask. The false emperor is in front of him, Chishagold. Chishagold smiles with Abel's face. A moment later, a white light pierces the chest of Vincent Valakia, the apex of the empire, in the back. The chapter ends. So, for those wondering what happened, from my understanding, Chishagold, who looks like Abel, walked up to him, stabbed him in the collarbone, and twisted his arm. And when Abel's vision went black for a second, that was Chisha Gold putting the demon mask on Abel's face. And then the white light came from somewhere and hit Chisha Gold, who's pretending to be Vincent Valachia, in the back. And because, of course, the demon mask that Abel wears disguises his identity. So that way, Chisha Gold takes the blast off the white light. Now, of course, there's a question asking, what is the white light? And some people are suggesting that is Balleroy, because Balleroy has an attack like that. And that's the reason why Mesioria flew upwards, because the idea is that Madeline is taking control of Mesioria, and she looked up and saw Balleroy somehow, and she got distracted, and that's the reason why she flew after whatever it was up there. Again, we don't know. There's a lot of speculation and theories going on, but my prediction is that Chisha Gold is actually good, and this was all his plan, because he stated that Abel's fault was looking at the chessboard from a bird's eye view, implying that Abel made a miscalculation somewhere, and Chisha Gold has somehow seen past that, and he looks like he's a good guy. Again, I'm not too sure. We'll see next chapter. I wouldn't be surprised if the next chapter is a named chapter for Chisha Gold. Anyways, thank you for watching.